All right, so we're gonna start a second story here, and I'm thinking about what you had told me when I asked you about, coming to know the Lord and what you could tell me about that. I want you to go back and share some details about kind of how all that came about. So, what comes to mind?
Well, we were in Cheyenne, and you're on a military base, and you're close to different fellas, and these guys in the barracks all said that they went to a church in town, and I said, well, good, I'll join you. So
now let me interrupt real quick. So your earlier story was about the reserves, which was your senior year in high school, right?
Right.
And then I'm sorry for interrupting, but there's one piece I want you to, before you get into that story, and that is what led to you joining the military after high school, which then leads into this story. So didn't you have a buddy who invited you?
Well, the same buddy that was in the National Guard with me, we got out of high school, and man, we thought we had the world by the tail, as you usually do. We put in job after job after job applications, and everybody says, well, we'll call you in 2 or 3 months or whatever. So I got tired of that, and he mentioned one day, he says, well, we've served in the National Guard, let's just go in the military. I said, well, I need a job and I need to do something. I just waiting around is not my bag. So we went down and joined, went to Oklahoma City and took my physical. I passed and he failed.
So the guy whose idea was to go join the military,
right.
You're in, he's out.
He's out.
Why did he fail, by the way?
Well, something to do with his health.
Okay.
But see, at that time we still had the draft. So the minute you get out of the National Guard, you're number one on the list of the draftees.
Okay.
So now when he gets rejected from the Air Force says you're no good. The Army takes anything that moves. It don't matter, I guess, because next thing I know, I got a letter from him. He's in Korea.
Oh boy.
Food service helper in the Army in Korea. And that was on Thanksgiving, and we joined in October. So
oh boy.
The Army doesn't fool with you. They moved him out.
All right. So that's how you got started, and then obviously you didn't go into being a cook.
No, that's when I went to basic training, and I wanted to be a boom operator, where they transfer fuel from the tankers to the bombers and other fighters. But due to my allergy trouble, I was rejected. And every week they'd come down with another request, and I kept putting in for my boom operator, and they kept rejecting me. And so in the meantime, I would get a job. I worked in a dental clinic for a while, and the guy said, do you want to be my assistant? And drill him teeth, and just simple pulling the tooth was fine, but when it come to an operation and I had to suck the blood out of this guy's gum, and he had his gum laid wide open because he pulled out 5 or 6 teeth at one time, I told the doctor, I said, this I don't think it's my bag.
So that was the end of your dental medical career?
Because one time I about passed out. The door was 20 feet away, and by the time I got the door, I was down on my hands and knees thinking about this blood and this guy hurting. So
I think
I scratched that idea.
I think David, your son, got that gene from you.
The blood deal, yeah.
So all right, so let's fast forward then to
then I finally got a job as a power production operator in Cheyenne, Wyoming. This is in October. The school starts in January, so I report into Francis E. Warren, go up there by bus, get in, and
is that the name of a base? What's Francis?
Francis E. Warren Air Force Base in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Okay.
And so they tell me that due to the fact that my school starts in January, I get the privilege of being on KP daily. 6 days a week, 4 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night or thereabouts. And so
they've been reading your resume, right?
We go to the kitchen every day, and I'm one that looks for benefits. So I volunteered for pots and pans, and everybody said, "You're crazy." I said, "No, I've got a theory here." So while they're serving breakfast and working real hard, I'm back here talking with the cook, and I can take my time piddling with the pots and pans, and after they serve the line, they've got to break the line down. They got to go out and sweep, mop the kitchen. So
Right.
I just piddle with my pots and pans as little as possible. Talk to the cook. I'm back there eating cake, ice cream, whatever I want. Talk to the cook about the goodies. So, and then when it comes nighttime, they do the same thing. They got to serve. They got to break down a line. They got to clean up the kitchen and mop everything. Well, I'm piddling with my pots and pans, but now I can stick it in high gear, and I can get through quicker than they can, ready to leave. So
you had figured out the best job to
I
have.
went to pots and pans every day.
Yeah, that was your
And,
secret. to
I could be eating back there, and everybody else out there working.
All right, so let's go now to Cheyenne where you meet these guys.
Yeah, this is in Cheyenne where I meet the guys in the barracks. I'm talking about church service. So I said, "Well, I'll go with you." And at that time, I didn't have a car, so we had to bum ways to get out to this church. It was a little church in town. Well, actually, it wasn't a church. It was a basement. They had built this basement, and the local pastor had that guidance from the Lord that this is going to be a church, and he didn't have the finances, so we just started with the basement
Of a house.
of this building.
Okay.
And so we had a piano, and we had a few pews and a few things, and a gathering room where we could have snacks and so on. And so these four guys got together and decided that they could sing, which they did. They were good singers. And so they'd go from church to church in town, because Cheyenne is a town about, 18,000. And we got 30,000 military men in town. So,
Wow. Okay.
the military, some places is liked and some places disliked because of the ratio of people. So we went to the churches, different churches. And after Christmas, I brought my car back from Oklahoma. So then I was the driver to get these guys to different churches where we sang. As a quartet.
Oh, okay.
I didn't sing. They were the singers. I was the transportation man. And it got to be real nice. We met a lot of wonderful people. And I think that's where I was saved and baptized, along with some of the other boys.
Yeah.
And it was, some of them had been registered pastors in their home church before they joined the service. Just young boys, just got their credentials.
Right.
And they had the military to serve, and so they were serving together, and it worked out. Real guys. Guys really enjoyed it, and the people wherever we went always enjoyed their singing and testimonies.
Do you have any specific memories about, when you understood the gospel and understood, that basically you were in a wrong relationship with God until you repented and believed? Do you have any recollection of that?
You see a lot in the military that is sinful, and you stop and think, and going to church, you realize that there is a need for some guidance, and the Lord can give you this guidance if you'll just open your heart and let Him. And so traveling with these guys was really a blessing to me, just to be able to help them out.
Right.
And serve them.
But during this, you being the driver, are you saying that during the course of that, taking them around, that's when you discovered your need for a Savior?
Well, that, and there's constant church services all the time we were going to.
Sounds like you were hearing the gospel.
Oh, yeah.
And you responded to it.
Every church. And then our own church had services 2 or 3 times a week, plus on Sunday,
Right.
Well, a lot of times I couldn't go because I was on KP. But later on, we didn't work so long at night. We could get off at we stopped serving, say, at 5, and if we put a hustle on it, we could get out of there by about 6, shower, and go to church service by 7:30 or whatever.
Right. Okay. Very cool.
So all of them were in about the same boat I was. They were up there going to school or waiting to go to school.
Yeah.
Because it was a big military training base where they trained all 10 or 15 different specialties.
Right.
But I just happened to be there 3 months early before it was the first class that they'd ever had there.
Yeah.
And I was one of the first ones there. And when I first got there, everybody said I was at the wrong base. They had to call headquarters and find out why they sent me to the wrong base. I said, well, my orders say here, and I'm here.
Yeah.
And come to find out later on, they confirmed it, and everybody in that personnel field was sure shocked because they were not aware that they were starting a new school.
A new school of what kind?
Well, power production.
Oh, okay.
The
So,
big diesel generators, where we go to remote sites where we didn't have power, you made your own with the diesel generators.
okay. So that was a new training.
New training,
All right. Gotcha.
Total new setup. That's